Have you seen the price of organic loose leaf peppermint tea? It's nearly $15 per pound. If you love peppermint tea but don't want to pay that crazy amount to have it whenever you want it, stick around to learn how you can grow your own peppermint tea for much less, maybe even free. The prices of everything have gotten ridiculous lately, but $15 per pound for one of my favorite beverages will not do, especially when peppermint is so easy to grow and dehydrate into tea. Most local nurseries will carry peppermint plants, and depending on where you live, you can purchase one for about $4 to $7 each. So for the price of a pound of dried peppermint leaves that will be gone once you make that last cup, you can buy 2 or 3 plants to grow an unending supply of this delicious and medicinal herb. Better yet, find a friend who is already growing peppermint and ask for a few starts from them. Peppermint spreads like wildfire, and if they are smart, they are growing it in a container which will be full after the first year and ready to thin out. So they will likely be more than happy to give you some. If they are not smart and they didn't grow it in a pot, then it has likely taken over the neighborhood and you can ask one of their neighbors for a start. Either way, you get free plants. This is my first container of peppermint that I've been harvesting off of for 3 years. The second year I gave away plants to thin out the container. Last year I took some of those overcrowded plants and transferred them into this second container. It is now full, and my friends are locking their doors when they see me coming because no one wants any more peppermint from me. So I'll be starting a third container. I love peppermint tea, and nothing beats fresh peppermint tea that you have grown in your own garden in the last few months. Who knows how old that $15 per pound peppermint is? It could be 3 years old for all you know. Once your peppermint reaches about 10 inches and before it starts to flower, you can start harvesting. Cut the tops of the plant back about 3 to 4 inches, or about 1/3 of the plant. The easiest and fastest way to drive the harvested peppermint is to use a dehydrator. If you have a large dehydrator, you can place the stems and leaves still attached in a single layer on the drying racks to process. If you have a smaller dehydrator, you may want to remove the leaves from the stems to save space. Set the temperature of your dehydrator at 115 degrees Fahrenheit and check the leaves in about 6 hours to see if they are dry. If they aren't, recheck every hour until they are dry. You want them to be completely dry so that you can store them long term. Any moisture left increases your risk of mold, and if you get mold, there is no saving the tea and it must be thrown out into the compost pile. That would be terribly sad and very costly. If the leaves are completely dry, they should crumble to powder when rubbed between your fingers. If you have left the leaves attached to the stems, you will notice the stems take longer to dry. I do this on purpose for 2 reasons. 1, I'm too lazy to pull all of these leaves off the stems one by one, and 2, I know when the stems are dry, the leaves are dry. When the stems snap like dry kindling, they are ready to come out of the dehydrator. To remove the stems from the leaves, grasp one end of the stem and draw the leaves through your fingers to break off the dried leaves, letting them fall to the cookie sheet. Discard the stems and place the dried leaves in a jar with an airtight seal such as a mason jar. Label and date the jar. Put these in a cool, dark place such as a cupboard. You will want to make sure that your tea is completely dried and no moisture is present. So once or twice a day you need to shake the tea and inspect it for any clumping or other signs of moisture. If you see any indication that your tea may still contain any moisture, pour it back on a dehydration tray and put it into the dehydrator for another 2 or 3 hours. If you don't see any clumping, keep shaking and inspecting the tea once a day for a week. If after a week you have a dry product, it's ready to go into long-term storage for when you need it later. To make a cup of peppermint tea, use 1 to 2 heaping teaspoons of dried peppermint in 1 cup of just boiled water. Cover and steep for 5 to 20 minutes. The longer you steep the tea, the stronger it will be. Covering the tea while it is steeping traps the volatile oils so you don't lose them. Once your tea is as strong as you like, strain it and enjoy. Oh, that's good. If you found this information helpful but want more information on how to grow and use herbs to keep yourself healthy, click here. Thank you for joining me today to learn how you can save money and make a delicious cup of peppermint tea. Stay healthy. Don't forget to grow that peppermint in a pot. And have a blessed week.